Okay, we are live.
We are.
Hey there, Menchers. Joel Furches here. Today I'd like to talk to you about a concept I call Pascal's Razor. Now, to understand this, we first need to understand two other concepts. One of these is Pascal's wager. So Blaise Pascal was a 17th century mathematician and Christian thinker who came up with this idea of the wager. The wager being that there is less risk and more reward believing in Christianity than disbelieving in Christianity. So let's say that I believe in Christianity and it happens to be true. There's a great deal of reward that comes with that. I have grasped the nature of reality as it really is. But let's say it happens to be untrue. If it's untrue, I haven't lost much in taking that risk. I have gained a sense of purpose and hope in my life, albeit untrue, and I have lost nothing because the worst thing that could possibly happen is that I die and then there is no risk. There's nothing that happens. I don't get an eternal reward, but I don't get anything. On the other hand, if I decide not to believe in God, and God doesn't exist, I've lost that sense of hope and purpose in life. I can make my own purpose and so forth, but I've lost a possible sense of hope, albeit untrue. On the other hand, if I disbelieve in God and God happens to exist, then I've taken an incredible risk with a great deal of bad consequence that comes with it. So what Pascal was saying is that there is less risk and more possible reward with believing in God, and great deal more risk and possible punishment that comes with disbelieving in God. So why not believe in God? Because it happens to be the safer bet. So that was Pascal's wager. Now, I'm not saying that Pascal's wager is a great argument for God. It really isn't even an argument for God. He's just saying it's an argument for the possibility of believing in God. So that's Pascal's wager. The next concept that I'll talk to you about is Occam's razor. Now, William of Occam was an actual monk, but he came up with this idea. He was a thinker as well, and he came up with this idea of the razor. The razor says that you would always prefer the simplest explanation for a thing. So let's say you come upon a crop circle, for instance, and we know for a fact that there are people that go out and make crop circles, and it's fairly easy to make with a plank and this technique that you do. So, the simplest explanation for the crop circle is that some person, some human being went out and made it. The less simple explanation would be aliens. The same thing's true with, say, the pyramids. Sure, it would be a difficult feat of engineering, but it's more likely that people did it than aliens, so you prefer the simplest explanation. We also see this in medicine. Let's say somebody has a series of symptoms which could be related to either a regular disease or a very exotic disease. You would always assume the regular disease, the more common disease, over the exotic disease because it's the simplest explanation. So that's Occam's razor. Now, Pascal's razor is my own concept that says that when you bump up against some kind of phenomena, some kind of paranormal or supernatural explanation for something, that you will always prefer the one with less risk associated with being skeptical. So, for instance, again, we'll talk about aliens. There's not a lot of risk with being skeptical about aliens, or ghosts, or levitation, or any of those things. If I happen to be skeptical about them, and they happen to be true, so that I'm wrong, I've lost pretty much nothing in being skeptical about them. On the other hand, if I were to engage them and be a true believer, and I happen to be wrong, then I've gained nothing in embracing these ideas of UFOs and paranormal phenomena because, there's no reward that comes with that. So, no risk, no reward. It would be preferable to be skeptical. And then we take something like Christianity. or like Islam. There's a great deal more risk involved with not investigating those. So it would be preferable to investigate Christianity or Islam or these things than to investigate paranormal phenomena, because there's a great deal more of risk involved with not investigating them than there is with investigating them. And now I could throw in some of the Eastern religions into this. Let's say that Hinduism or Buddhism happens to be true, and that there's this cycle of karma and rebirth and so forth. If I were to not investigate that, not take it too seriously, and be skeptical about it, I've lost very little in not investigating those things and remaining skeptical about those things. Because worst case scenario, I don't accumulate a lot of karma, I get another life, and I get a do-over. Versus monotheistic religions, Christianity, Islam, those being the big two, I would say, it stands a lot more reason to investigate, not believe. I'm not saying you should just automatically believe, but it's worth the investigation because there's a lot of risk and reward involved in these. They should be taken a lot more seriously. Now, if I investigate them and they're untrue, I've just investigated something that was worthwhile investigating. And if they happen to be true, then I've gained a great deal out of investigating them. So that's Pascal's Razor. You always prefer investigating the thing with more impact on life and reality. It's been nice talking to you about that. Keep on watching, keep on mentioning.